As most of you know who have watched my videos for a while, um, uh, I've been pretty clear that I think we're in a secular bull market. It's being driven by another technological advance and another step up for the quality of life on Earth for human beings. Every secular bull market is driven by a technological advance. So the um, bull market into 29 was driven by the automobile and the mass production assembly line. The bull market um, from 1960 to 1980 was driven by um, plastics and electronics, and of course, from 80 to 2000, that was the personal computer and the internet. And now we've got a multitude of drivers for this bull market. Um, Two of the big ones are artificial intelligence and biotech. I'm going to look at those in today's report. I've noted this before. These big, long basing patterns, when they break out, they tend to go a long ways. And I have pointed this out. This is a semiconductors. I think this is the sector that's going to benefit from the integration of artificial intelligence into human society. We tested this multiple times here. I kept warning people that we were going to get a breakout. We did finally get a breakout. And then, of course, we had the recent 4-year cycle low as politicians stupidly closed down the global economy and manufactured a severe recession, possibly even a brief depression out of nothing. And we have now come back down to retest that breakout. And as you can see, we're back on our way up. And I think this retest, I think we're done, and I think we're now going to get um, significant follow through over the next 10 years. And the rule is the bigger the base, the higher in space. This is a huge, almost 19-year base here, and it's going to drive a huge move in the semiconductor sector over the next 10 years. So I know it's hard to do. It's hard to ignore the perma bears as they come up with, just multiple reasons for why this is a false bull market, from stock buybacks to central bank money printing and, yada, 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 on and on. And some of those things are valid, but they're not the underlying driver of this bull market. The underlying driver of this bull market is a new advance, a new step up for the human race, the same as every other secular bull market. So another sector that I think is going to benefit immensely is healthcare, and specifically biotech. So let me switch over to that chart. All right, here the basing pattern, of course, isn't anywhere near as large as it is in the semiconductors, but we've got almost a 2-year basing phase here, and we're getting a breakout now. I'm pretty sure that we're going to have to retest this breakout, just like we had to retest the breakout in the semis, because either in July, or I'm now starting to lean maybe towards the first week or two of September, we're going to get our next intermediate cycle low, and this explosive V rally, which I predicted, um, is going to come back down and to some extent retest the March low in the S&P. In the biotech sector, I suspect we're going to get a pretty nice move here over the next 8 to 10 weeks, and then I would expect that biotech is going to come back down and retest this breakout. But this is another sector that's benefiting from very rapid and just amazing and mind-boggling advances in healthcare, and I think this sector as well will produce some very satisfying gains over the next 10 years. And then finally, just a quick look here. I told people in my last several videos this was going to happen, that silver would start to blast off, and you can see the basing pattern here in silver. Let me put the trend line in. All right, so you can see silver has kind of been stuck around this $20 resistance level for almost 6 years now. I expect that we are going to break through this resistance probably during this intermediate cycle, and we're going to get a very nice move in silver as well. Now, I don't think the metals are going to be in a 10-year, another 10 or 15-year bull market like stocks are. In fact, we're about 5 years into the 8-year cycle in gold, and my original expectation was that gold would get up to maybe 1900 during this 8-year cycle, and then correct, and then we would get our blow off bubble phase in the next 8-year cycle. But think I'm going to probably modify that. It's looking more and more like we're going to get that bubble phase in gold during this 8-year cycle, because we're already getting pretty close to those all-time highs at 1900, and maybe this year, probably more likely next year, we're going to break out above that 1900, and then the metals I think will go parabolic for about a year, year and a half, and then I think the long-term bull market in the metals will probably be over, and then at that point we'll continue with the long-term bull market in stocks as we continue the innovation, the technological innovation phase that has been ongoing since 2009 in the stock market. But I do think over the next 2 or 3 years, we've got some, very, very nice, very, very big, maybe even huge moves in the metals, because I think we're going to move into the bubble phase in gold here once we do finally break out above those all-time highs at 1920.